and share my screen. Today we are going to learn about a new sound. I'm skipping, I have to skip the little beginning part that we normally do, only because we knew that we'd have a short time today. And I want to make sure that we have a new thing to talk about, but please don't do that. Thank you. Oh goodness, I moved my dock camera so that I could have her camera so she could see. There we go, much better. All right, so here we go. So today we have this, what we would call a phoneme. This is the grapheme. The letters are grapheme. So that because we write them down, but the sound that they make is not what the sound that we would expect them to make. When we have a P, it makes a P sound, right? P. And H makes a H. So if you try to put those together, they'd be H, H, like with an extra H. But when we see this letter combination in words, we see it and it actually makes the F sound. It makes a. So when we're doing our sand, which will be not tomorrow, but when we do our sand on Wednesday, when we have our F, I'll actually ask you to split your sand, and you'll actually split it to 3 groups, right? Because F makes, F makes, and also PH. So I'm going to show you some common words. So, and you might wonder, why in the world does this happen? Why is it that PH makes a sound? And I'll tell you why. Our language came from a couple different places. There was a language called Latin that came from Europe, and also the Greek language that also came from sort of the Europe area. And both of those languages are ancient languages that have formed a lot of the words that we use now. Now, the Latin words are mostly the ones who follow the rules, but even some of the Latin words don't quite follow all of our rules, but the Greek ones, in the Greek language, some of the sounds of in their words, PH makes a sound. So everybody make that F sound. So I'm going to show you a thing it's my phone, right? Does anybody know how to spell phone using that PH, Max? And why does it have that E on the end? Very good. We have our magic E, right? From last week. That magic E makes that O say its name. So phone, and is phone really always the whole word? We can also call it a what? No, well, yes, an iPhone or a telephone. You might still have one in your house that you refer to as the telephone. So you notice that the PH can come in the beginning, but it can come in the middle, and it also can come on the end. So if we think of what did Mrs. Harrison, or not Mrs. Harrison, Mrs. Aubin teach us about in our before we start doing problem solving, what did we make a lot of? We drew bar and picto, and what were they? Graphs. Graph. And guess what? Graph is another one that has the PH as its ending sound. What's another word for calling the letters that A, B, C, D, E, F, G? What is that? What do we call that? The alphabet. Guess what? Another one. Alphabet. Look at that. Follows our rules except for that PH is our sound. You might know some names. Are there any names that you know that have PH instead of an F in them? There's a lot of some names. Sunny? Bill. Does Bill have a sound in it? Phil. Oh, Phil. Sorry, I didn't hear. Apparently my glasses and my mask have affected my hearing. I'm sorry. So Phil. And Phil is short for, I'm gonna go ahead and say Philip, but Phil would work for sure. We just dropped the Philip part, right? Philip. Anything? Can you think of one, Max?
No, I like
You may. How about some of you? Mm,
Cappuccino. It's called a
cappuccino. Cappuccino. Yep, that doesn't have a ph in it. No, because pup. There's a pp sound. Well, frappuccino is an F. It's an F. But that was a good guess. That was one. Hey, let's put that over here. Frappuccino. That goes in our. Ooh, that goes in our little. Doesn't quite fit, doesn't it? Yes. Quick. Yes, I know. Yep. Okay. Okay. So you had a what? Okay. So that's two words, house and phone. So you got that phone word. So we have a lot of words. I'm going to just show you a bunch of them. All right. And see if you can see some themes that go with them. Okay. See if you, okay. So how about this one? What's this word? What's that one? Can anybody read that? Phantom. Phantom. How about a pharaoh?
What's that?
Oh, phrase.
What's that? Oh, you don't know what
A phrase is a group of words, right? Yeah. All right. So Aaron, what else?
It's the PH is in it, but not the beginning.
Okay. Elephant. Yes. Elephant. And my book today that I don't have time to read because I gave a gal an extra 5 minutes was dolphin. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show Miss Astria. Dolphin. Dolphin. Words like, oh, what is something we've been studying in EL? Okay, so frog is here, but amphibians, right? There's our PH. What else? Phil Long. Yes, well that's that Phil name yep, Phil Long, that's his first name. It's a PH. Excellent, Sawyer. All right. Geography, triumph, digraph. Oh, that's perfect. The reason I wanted to say digraph is because guess what this is? When we have PH and PH makes one sound, it's a what? Digraph. And how do we draw? How does Mrs. Harrison, when she writes it on, how do we write a digraph when we do a dictation kind of thing? Does anybody remember what a digraph looks like? SH, CH. What does it draw? August, do you remember?
Yeah, it's like
Anybody remember? Astria, do you remember how we draw a digraph when we do a dictation? No? All right, I'm going to give you a hint because we're about to do a dictation before we go. All right, I'm going to show you. And so Miss Astria, you're going to need your EL spiral, right? All right, so I'm going to give one of these to everybody. So what do you notice up there? What shape is that? I will give you a pencil.
I thought we just needed one.
Yeah, because I'm giving. Yes, because I gave it to you. You didn't
But you said we just needed a pencil.
All right. So my friends here.
I'm actually
All right. PH, and it is a digraph. So we're going to make sure, and then tomorrow we'll do our rivers and all that. Who am I missing? Oh, Gabe and those guys. All right. Anybody else need a? Oh, yeah, sorry. Anybody else need a? I don't know. What? All right, so here we go. Let's try out our first one. So here's our markings. There's two. I'm going to make this a little bigger so Astrid can actually see. All right, here we go. So what did the two lines at the beginning tell us? Hello? What are the two? It's a blend, right? Two lines together is a blend. And then what's the squiggly line? What is that squiggly line? That's our digraph, our two letters that make one sound, like CH makes ch, SH makes ch, TH makes or th. All right, so now we have PH. No, Evie, I don't have time, sweetie. I'm so sorry. I got to go on to our first word, okay? Yep, we're going to, well, wait until we get there. Yes, we're going to get there. All right, here we go. First one. I know. First word is graph. Graph, which I wrote down, but let's see if you remember. Graph. Graph. Who thinks they can tell me how to spell it? Graph, Max?
Graf.
Okay, so GR is our blend. A, F what? Ooh, not FE. There you go. Good job. Because the E would make it a, then P would make a P sound, right? All right, Mr. August, here's your paper, bud. And this time you're going to rewrite. Remember how you got to rewrite? Okay, so some of you didn't rewrite last week, and I don't know why. So make sure you're writing it and then rewrite it the normal way. Number 2 is phone. Phone. We'll go ahead and write it down. Phone. Phone. But it's not iPhone, it's just phone. So, do you need a pencil?
Yes.
Go ahead and grab one. When I passed them out, you were in the bathroom. All right. Miss Bird, how do I spell phone?
Phone.
Which letter is at the beginning?
FH.
Not FH.
P.
There you go. PHO. And what's at the end? E. There's that magic E. So, Miss Abby, let's be polite, please. Number 3. This one's a little harder, but you guys can do it because you have all the skills that you know. So this one, you're gonna have two. You're gonna have a blend. You're gonna have 2 sounds, and then look at this one here. You're gonna have a blend, but the blend has a digraph at the end, probably the new one. Okay, so try your best, and then we'll see how you do. Okay, ready? Triumph. 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 I will triumph over the spelling test. Triumph. So think about what goes in those first two letters. Triumph. Triumph. You guys can do this. Triumph. I will triumph against the one football team will triumph against the other in the Super Bowl. I'm not taking sides. All right, so what do I think we start with? What do you think you start with, Sunny? What 2 letters do you think you start with? TR. It's a good start, isn't it? Tr, and then try. So this is an open syllable, isn't it? Triumph. So triumph. That's a 2-syllable word. It's an open syllable. So what letter goes next, Fen? There you go. It's a long I because it's an open syllable, isn't it? Try. What's going to be my next letter, Miss Sunny? U. This is Mrs. Harrison. He is in Mrs. Coates at the moment. Okay, so then we will be we'll be in Mrs. Aubin's doing math. Okay, so that's where we'll be. Thank you. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, Miss Astria. The phone waits for no one. And then what are my last letters going to be? Oomph. 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 Fin.
MPH.
So there's M, and then there's our PH. Good job. Triumph. I will triumph over the spelling test. Number 4. We already did this one, so you guys should be really good at it already. All right. Yes, Miss Sunny. Yes. Can I give the word real quick and then I'll grab it for you? Dolphin. See if you remember. Dolphin. So remember, the dictation is where we kind of just research where the letters and sounds are. But on the last day of the week when we take the spelling test, Mrs. Harrison can tell whether or not you really listened to all the sounds in the word and used the rules that went with them. No, you're not bad at spelling. You just need to know what the rules are.
I'm just good at a little bit more good at
You're okay. We're all getting better knowing the rules and following along. Okay, dolphins. Sawyer, what's the first letter? D. Make sure you put the D correct. I had to mark some tests incorrect because the letters were the wrong direction. So make sure this is the drum and the stick. The drum and the stick for D.
Okay.
No. I'm looking for the vowel. What's the vowel, Max? O. Doll. So what's going to come next? Charlie Carr. L. And then Astria, what's the little squiggle for?
H.
The PH, right? Good. There's my sound and my sound. And then what's coming next, Charlie Carr? The P's over here. PH is over here. E. Okay, Dolph, in. Is it going to be E? I. Very good. Dolph, And then Sunny, what's at the end? And dolphin, doll, in. So a lot of times there isn't a specific way to know whether it's a F or a PH all the time, but I think if you wrote it DOLFIN and you really looked at it, most of your reader brains would be like, that doesn't look quite right. So even though F does make that, an F sound, obviously, I think you look at it and go, that just doesn't look right. All right, we only have one sentence today because I knew we wouldn't have much time. Yes, Mr. Max?
Oh, we're just grading
These here, this is your practice. This is sort of, so yes, I mean, I do grade them and then I give them to Mrs. Aubin and they go home in your, but they don't go grade my grade book, but I do grade them.
Well, I've been trying to tell them no capital.
Okay, definitely try not to put that capital in there. That's a good thing, except for right here. Gotta have that capital on our sentence, right? Miss Evie, let me say the sentence and then you can, let's get to the sentence first because I'm running out of time. Here we go. Only one sentence today. Did you fix the phone to make it ring? Did you fix the phone to make it ring? Did you fix the phone to make it ring? Did you fix the phone to make it ring? And when you think you're done, make sure you go through your cups because some of you didn't on your spelling test. You marked them off, but I don't think you did them. Because I noticed some had their C crossed out for capitals. Guess what? There wasn't a capital at the beginning of the sentence. So I know that they didn't actually do their job. Did you fix the phone to make it ring. How's it going, Bird? Did you get it all? Okay. Did you fix the phone to make it ring? And then after Mrs. Harrison writes it, you're going to check your work and then you're going to rewrite it on that bottom line. All right. Some of you have not been rewriting things too. We got to do the rewrite because that helps our brain and our hand make that connection to what it should look like. All right. Miss Bird, what should I start with?
A capital D.
Very good. And then how do I spell did?
I-D.
D-I-D with our capital. Very good. Did you? Now it has two lines because that is a red word. It doesn't say, it's not spelled the way it sounds, but you is one of those words we use a lot, isn't it? So Sawyer, how do we spell it?
U?
Just the letter U?
No.
Oh, no, yeah, the word you. How should I spell it?
Y-O-U.
Did Y? Hey, make sure your Y goes down below the line. O-U. Did you fix?
Well, I was asking you as well with the U.
You means understanding. So you reread your sentence and make sure that it makes sense what you wrote. Mr. August, fix. Yes. Now, Mrs. Harrison stuck an F sound in there, even though we're learning PH is that same sound. Because not every word, you're going to assume most of the time it is actually F. But because when you read, the word nephew has a PH in it, I've heard a lot of kids read that PH and think, oh, it's nep-who instead of nephew. So it's more of in the spelling part, it's a little bit hard, but I think you'll get it if you have that. If you really look at it and go, that doesn't look right, I think that's a PH word, that might come up. Yes, Miss Evie.
The reason why I got bookstore is because I literally wrote yesterday fixed Yoda because my mom knocked over my Yoda.
Oh, gotcha. And you had to write her a note and you used your spelling. Good job. Fix the, how do I spell the?
T-H-E.
T-H-E. We should all know that one. Fix the phone. We did that one together. P-H-O-N-E. 2. Why is T-O just, why is that a red word, Miss Astria? Why is T-O a red word?
Because it can be spelled that many different ways.
Yeah, it can be spelled many different ways, and it makes an ooh sound, right? Except for the O doesn't normally by itself make a ooh sound. Very good. 2, make. Who's got make for me, Mr. Max?
M-A-K-E.
Very good. Magic E. Here's my magic E. Make. Very good. I just really wanted to use my wand today. To make it.
I-T.
IT. We got that one. Ring.
R-E-I-N-G-E.
Oh, I heard some different calling out that wasn't all correct. Abby, what do you think? Yep, Abby. R-I-N-G. And are we done? Question mark. Good job. All right, write it correctly one more time, very neatly. Make sure your D's are facing the right direction. Did you fix the? I'm not ready for them yet. Have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat.
I wanted to show you something.
You can after I'm done. Have a seat. Well, you weren't listening. All right. Hopefully you double checked your capital. Read the sentence back to make sure it makes sense. Does it have punctuation at the end? And did you spell all the words correctly? Some of you marked your cups on your spelling test, but I can tell you didn't do them because if you're missing, especially a capital, you know we're missing it. All right. Make sure your name is at the top so I can know whose it belongs to because I had a hard time last week, didn't I, Mr. Ben and August, because I wasn't sure whose is whose. Make sure your name is on it for me. Thank you. All right. So tomorrow we will have, tomorrow we'll do some more red words, and then Wednesday we'll work with PH, and on Thursday you will have your spelling test with PH words inside it. All right, Miss Astria, you got some time to go and, to get a snack or something before math, okay? Thank you, my friend.
Bye, Astrid.
All right. Hold on. I gotta end my call.